Trollhunters, an amazing action-packed TV show on Netflix following the story of a young boy who became a legend. Wrong person. With this said, no one talks about it. So I vow to explain and review Trollhunters Tales of Arcadia from start to finish, starting with the Kilahead Bridge arc. Before we start, I would just like to say my schedule has been a bit fucked due to some poor planning on my part, but starting this week, it should be going back to normal, with 2 videos per week. With that said, let's begin. Now at first I was going to cover each episode of this arc, but that didn't go very well, so I'll just be giving a brief summary of the story and characters. Enough dabble, let's discuss. Trollhunters was a fantasy show based around the novel Trollhunters. Both the show and book were written by the well-known director Guillermo del Toro, telling us the story of the troll hunter, the young boy, James Lake Jr., a kind fellow who looks out for his mother, friends, and other people. One day on his way to school, he finds an amulet, hidden in the debris of the former troll hunter, in an excellently demonstrated fight scene in the first episode. Over the course of the series, Jim unlocks the amulet and becomes the first human troll hunter,
the guardian of both magical and mortal beings alike.
fighting the Gum-Gums and their changeling allies, the most prominent of which is Bular, the son of Gunmar, and Strickler, leader of the changeling. Jim, alongside his close friend Toby, and his trainers Arg and Blinky, fight Bular and Strickler to try and stop them from opening Kilahead Bridge, the gateway to the Darklands, where Gunmar and his horde are imprisoned. Later, more characters join their side in their fight, and eventually comes to a head at the museum in the town of Arcadia. Each character is given their moments to develop and grow alongside each other, and ask questions that are really interesting. One of them being, why doesn't Strickler kill Jim whenever they're alone? Which leaves us to interpret it as we will, and when done in a good way, is very enjoyable. Jim also faces a lot of scrutiny by those he has to protect, those people being the good trolls who live underneath Arcadia, and they are none too happy that a sacred relic within their society has been granted to a human. Greatest among them is the former troll hunter's son, Drawl. Drawl would antagonize and challenge Jim multiple times, before being won over by Jim's mercy, and vows to fight alongside him till the day he dies. And this is why Trollhunters is so good. The characters. All of them grow and change through their interactions with Jim and his friends in a very natural way. Something DreamWorks masters when at their best. And coupled with a great world building, animation, story, you have a nice blend of a story-focused season, while also explaining and going deeper into character motivations and wants. And the animation, God! This is Guillermo del Toro written all over it. If you've watched some of his previous works, Trollhunters shares the same kind of style and look, which is a treat to see. Moving on, we have the villains. Damn! They good. Strickler has to be one of my favorite villains in DreamWorks. While he doesn't inspire fear, he is still devious and mischievous in the way he acts. And though he isn't a total villain, he does have times where he reminds you he ain't good either. Bular makes up for the fear factor Strickler lacks, looming over Jim as a destructive force, and basically represents everything Jim must protect the world from the Gum-Gums. Jim is especially good to watch on screen, displaying the teenage life in a way that feels believable, and you feel the struggles he faces, trying to balance 2 lives at once, complicating this more through his relationship with Claire, a girl in his school he likes and volunteers to be in the school play just to spend time with her. making keeping track of his normal and troll hunter life even harder. Blinky is also great, in his words to Jim, in the role he plays as a surrogate father to him. He helps Jim and us learn about the world we see and teach us important lessons in actual combat, and delivering this line.
Master Jim, destiny is a gift. Some know their entire lives, living existence in quiet desperation. Never learning the truth that what feels as though a burden pushing down upon our shoulders is actually the sense of purpose that lifts us to greater heights. Never forget that fear is but the precursor to valor, that to strive and triumph in the face of fear is what it means to be a hero. Don't think, Master Jim. Become.
How could you not love him? Claire loses the most in this part of the season, when her brother is trapped in the Darklands and replaced by a changeling. And when learning of this, struggles mentally after she comes to terms that she may never see her baby brother again. And just, woof, that's tough. So yeah, everyone is great and offers a lot to the table in character and story motivation. Toby and Og are the real stars of the show in my opinion though. Their personalities and thoughts really work together to make a wholesome friendship. Toby is a pretty optimistic guy, but he's also lonely. Apart from Jim, Toby has no other friend. When Og comes to stay and protect him, he's overjoyed and tries very hard to make Og feel at home. But he clusters and confuses him, bringing out feelings he would rather keep secret. But Toby changes and tries to help Og in other ways, connecting with him. And when learning the truth of Og's past, he tells him,
"Might have been one then, but you're one of us now, wingman."
"Ah, so good!" This all comes at a head at the climactic battle of the museum. Jim's allies try to stop Strickler, Bula and Co. from opening the portal, and fail? But just before the Gum-Gums can pass through, Droll makes a sacrifice in order to close Kilahead. The battle would finally end, and Jim vanquishes Bula to the depths. He makes it to the play, vowing to Claire that he will get his brother back. The show finally closes with the shot of the babies in the Darklands, and cuts to black. All in all, a great first start, establishing most of the facts that stay for the rest of the series, and character stories that will continue to be expanded on in the future. And funny thing is, I never liked the show, at first. It wasn't until my dad told me to watch it on Christmas Day of all days, that I began watching this show, to this day. Like he did for me, I say to you, what do you think of Trollhunters? And if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you check it out for yourself, and share your opinion. With that said, may the glory of Merlin be with you always.